YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Box to Box. This is the intro for episode 23. You're about to take a look at it now. We have MaxCGaming on the pod again, the first return guest on the pod, to talk all things Manchester United. He is a massive fan of the club. The January transfer window is here. We brought him in just to chat about what his dream window and team would really look like. I'm giving you guys kind of a special intro for this one because Max is here, of course, but also with this episode, as it never fails, we had a few technical difficulties, a few internet lag out moments throughout the show. We'll probably find a way to edit those out, but I wanted to give you guys a really quick intro to call them out ahead of time. And also at the same time, guys, if you wouldn't mind, if you're first time you're tuning in, subscribe to the channel, like the video. And I'm really hoping we can see somewhere, I don't know, 20 plus likes on this video today for Max. I think it's going to be a great show. I think you guys are going to like it a lot. Some hot takes, not just regarding who Manchester United could bring in, but ultimately where Max and the rest of us really kind of see Manchester United finishing in the 2022-2023 Premier League season. A lot of very high ambitions and aspirations for this club. Again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy the show. All right, guys, episode 23. As you can see, box to box. My name is Jose Tellez. I am joined by our mainstay host, Alina. I would normally also be joined by another mainstay host, Andre Gutierrez, a.k.a. Coach Dre. Guys, recovering from a pretty epic loss against Villarreal yesterday. So we'll give him the day, rightfully so. I'm pretty happy about it, as you can see. But nonetheless, we got a big game against Atletico today that I'm extremely tuned in for. So we're going to get to this episode accordingly. But guys, we have our first return guest. It was a hell of an episode the first time around a few months ago, back in October. Maxwell Clark, a.k.a. MaxCGaming. Bro, you are back on the pod to talk about all things Manchester United in the January transfer window. First off, how are you, man? We haven't talked in a few months. How everything has changed, I feel like, since we last got you on. The World Cup kind of came and went. United looks like a way different team. Your stream has grown since we last spoke. I mean, dude, catch us up. What's life been like on your end?
Yo, thank you for having me back on the show. First of all, it was an insanely good first episode when I joined. But thank you again for the invitation. But life has been good. I can't really complain. Last few months have been a really busy work outside of streaming and then streaming itself. I just hit 7,500 followers on Twitch. Another milestone. I wanted to hit it right before the new year. Unfortunately, I was like 20 followers short, but nonetheless, we still hit the goal, which is awesome. The streaming has been great. My community has grown a lot more. I'm seeing a lot more new faces, which is awesome. I love that. And I've just I've enjoyed this season so far. United.
Now you enjoy it. You sound way different than you. Well, not way different. You sound a little bit different in terms of sentiment.
No. That episode I joined, I had us in top 4, and where are we right now?
You did. It was a bold prediction. Alina had that prediction too.
Yeah. I said top 4.
Guys, I will own this. Really quick, Max. I will own this. I think a lot of things can change. Football, has this way of evolving tremendously over the course of a season. But I love that. You're right. You had this really hot take where Andre and I just didn't really see it. We didn't see how United was going to figure out a way to get back into this top 4 running. And we're here. We're at a stage now where United's like, they're getting it going. And it's probably, is this right now, the January transfer window, right, Max, the most exciting time for fans on your side? Like, is it exciting or nervous?
It's not really exciting or nervous just because we don't have any money.
That sounds weird, though, doesn't it? Like, United has money.
We have money, but we don't have ambitious owners. Look at Chelsea's owner. He would spend the money to go out and get Enzo out of his own pocket if he had to. Would the Glazers do that? No, they would never do that. So that's what I would say is why this window's not too exciting, because if you look at all of all the players that we're linked to, it's for loans. It's not really the only player that I would say we're not linked to that's for, not a loan is Enzo, but that's way too far. Like, there's no chance of us getting Enzo in this window. There's absolutely no way. So yes, it's a little bit exciting, but we do need to get a striker. Like, it's needed. I love Martial, but way too inconsistent, not healthy. Can't rely on him for the next 4 months. Okay, there's going to be another chance where he's going to be out for like 2-3 weeks, or hopefully not more. But we need another striker. I know we're looking at Joao Felix. I've always loved Joao Felix for the last 2 years. I wanted him at United, so they were my dream come true signing. It's a little bit too much to just 20 million for a loan for 6 months. It's a little steep.
Yeah.
But if they can find a way to negotiate at least like 10 mil and get a buy option, I think that would be worth it. I think that would be worth it. It's a little bit better of an investment.
It's just hard for me. It's hard for me.
Why? Why is it hard for you?
Well, the 20, like just the loan fee. Like I just can't. Fee? Yeah, it's so hard for me to accept it mentally.
It's a little weird, but this is Atletico, and nobody likes Atletico for anything. Not their play style, not their manager,
fair.
Not their board, nothing. Nobody likes Atletico. But Joao Felix, I personally think he's worth it. I personally think he's really worth it, and he fits that style we have at United right now. So if we can somehow manage to get him this window, it would literally be a dream signing for us and a chance to really push for first place. Now, hear me out. Our
it's
next
not
2
a hot
games.
take.
It's not a hot take.
No, it's not.
The way United are playing. I'm gonna throw this stat out right here that I don't think you guys actually knew.
Okay.
Last year, we only won 20 games.
Okay.
Guess how many games we won this year? 19. And we were missing 2 games because of when the Queen passed away.
That's fair. How many goals did you guys score last year?
Not a lot. Not a lot at all.
How many this year?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure we're close to scoring the same amount of goals as last year. Yes, I think people don't realize that. Yes, Ronaldo scored 24 goals, but the rest of the team didn't really score. Like everything was revolved around Ronaldo. And first of all, as we all know, I love Ronaldo. I know some of you guys probably love Ronaldo too, but with Ronaldo gone, you can now really see how good this United team could be.
Yeah, I feel like I said that.
And we said this before.
In the last episode, right? We were like, he just doesn't fit. His work ethic isn't matching what the team needs to be. He's not bought into the system, to the pressing. And it's not even, I personally think he's such a physical freak. It's not even that he can't do it. I think he just didn't want to do it.
He just didn't want to.
He wants to be a striker that hangs out in the box, and that's right. I totally get it. Right. There are teams that have systems built like that, but yeah.
Yeah, and then the fluidity within the team once he's not in the game is just incredible. So Joao Felix, I feel like we would fit that. He would fit that system perfectly.
He would. Do you not feel like Joao's more of a winger? I kind of feel that way. Like he plays better coming from the wing into the interior?
He does, but so does Rashford.
Yeah.
And look what
Rashford. I think Felix, I personally don't think he's that great of a fit. I think he's a great player. I just think for the system Ten Hag wants to run, I'm not sure if he's like the out-and-out 9 that you guys really, really need. But I don't want to get too far into this discussion. We're definitely going to talk about it. The striker position is the last position we're going to draft today in our best 11 for what United will look like post-January transfer window. Right. There must have been, I don't know how many names thrown out in the transfer window, and we're on the 8th of January. Like we're not even halfway into the window just yet. I mean, Manchester United, because they're a giant club, has been linked to, I can't even think of how many players per top 5 European league out there. This is probably the most I've seen. And which leads me to our primary segment for today, taking a look at United's 11, not holding anything back, drafting who we think is going to be their best 11 post-January. And look, there's no such thing as too ridiculous of a pick. Like, I think, if especially Max, if you think as a United fan that United should be going after someone, even if they haven't been linked, throw them in. I really think that this is our chance to kind of flex the ball knowledge and see if there's an opportunity to piece together a United 11 that, according to Max, is going to be on the up and up and challenging Arsenal for that title. So I think it's going to be, and not just Arsenal, I mean City and Arsenal, City and Newcastle look like teams that are ready to go after it in a really, really big way. I think this is probably going to be the most interesting top four race we've had in quite some time, because City and Liverpool have just run away with it over the last few years. So let's get into it, guys. So we're going to do this the same way we have done most of the drafts recently. If you've tuned into Box to Box over the last few episodes throughout the World Cup or even after that, we've done a few of these drafts trying to predict maybe a best of a World Cup round or whatever it may be. The formation we're going with for today is United's tried and true 4-2-3-1 under Ten Hag. And we're going to go position by position. And first, I'm going to call out who currently is that starter. Max will kind of confirm for me on that front. And then we'll take turns. We'll go round table. Somebody will throw out a name that we think is a good fit for that role that United should be going after in the window. And we can, at that point, open it up for discussion. Agree, disagree. If you disagree, you probably have someone on your list that you want to throw in instead. And that's how we'll keep this train rolling. So it shouldn't take too long, because I do think there are some guys on this roster that have cemented their spots, but we'll talk about it. And let's start with, I think up until this last FA Cup round against Everton, I thought it was kind of solidified, but maybe it isn't. Who knows? But let's start with our keeper position. I think it's really, really interesting, the timing of the signing of Jack Butland, De Gea still being the tried and true starter week in and week out, but showing a little bit of, I don't know if it's hesitancy. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know what it is, but the goals that happened against Everton kind of stuck out to me a little bit. So look, Max, you're the guest of honor today, bro. I kind of have De Gea as the tried and true starter at United at the moment. Who do you have? Is there anyone that you have beating him between the posts?
No. De Gea is the best shot stopper in the world. I'm sorry.
That's interesting. The best shot stopper in the world. That could be true. I'm trying to think of who I would take.
I think you can argue Courtois, but he is the best shot stopper in the world. He does have a tendency to just ghosting, disappearing, you might say, but I don't see. I know we're linked to Summer from the Bundesliga, and then we just got Jack Butland. But right now, I think our goalkeeper is De Gea.
Okay. So the Jan Sommer thing is interesting. The Jack Butland signing, that's just to compete with him then?
That was 6 months long.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So,
because we don't have a backup besides Heaton. So
how old is De Gea?
De Gea is 33.
Okay. Yeah, he's actually not even like a terrible age for the keeper. I actually agree with you. I don't think there's anybody that Ten Hag is looking at to replace De Gea. I don't know if there's any hesitancy after what we saw against Everton. Alina, do you feel like De Gea is the best option for United? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I mean, do you think he's getting better or worse?
I think he's gotten better, to be honest. I think he improved from last year. I just don't think there's any other goalkeeper that would be on the market that's worth really, going after. Like, the only keepers that I would think that are better than De Gea would be Courtois, Ter Stegen, Oblak, Donnarumma. I don't really think there's too many other goalkeepers that would probably leave their current clubs to come to United. So I think De Gea is our guy.
All right.
If Summer can come in next, because I think we can get him for free.
Isn't he going to Bayern?
No, I think that Croatian goalkeeper might be going to Bayern.
Livakovic.
Yes.
Okay, That's interesting. I thought he played fucking lights out at the World Cup.
He did.
It's crazy. He had some,
and there's no Noor, so they need a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see who competes with you guys. I think Jan Sommer would be a hell of a signing in the summer.
I think he would too. I think he would have a chance. Do I think he might beat out De Gea? I don't know. I can't really say.
Do you remember the Euros? Do you remember the Euros watching Jan Sommer and when he was making those saves against France in the quarterfinals? And I don't know. I think De Gea versus Sommer would be a really, really interesting. It's almost a Pep-like move to keep both of them and try to go after every trophy possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, for the sake of today, De Gea, I think that's going to be it. I think he's the guy. We'll keep it there. I think the best shot stopper in the world take is really interesting. I think, if Andre were here, he would jump in like crazy and throw out Courtois.
But of course he would.
Of course he would. And he would reference, the Ballon d'Or rankings and all that stuff. I mean, I don't believe in any of that. I think it's all, that's all voted upon. But with that said, I mean, you throw Courtois into the Premier League, who knows, right? I think it really just kind of depends on.
He was there for Chelsea.
He was, but watching De Gea, I mean, that was a small sample size. I think everybody remembers like De Gea's first couple of years in the Prem and how up and down they were.
Real Madrid wanted De Gea at one point. Remember that?
Yeah, 100%.
They wanted to give us Benzema and like 100 mil or something like that.
That's crazy. And that now you look back at it and you're like, that's crazy to think that they were willing to offer up that much to get De Gea, considering what Benzema's now achieved for that club. But yeah, man. Okay, so De Gea, lock it in. That's our keeper for this. I don't think that goes anywhere. And like I said, for me, the defense and behind him, I was almost pretty solidified around all of it. But again, we'll talk about it. Let's go to left back. There's already a little bit of competition there. We'll go to Alina this time. We have Shaw, Malacia. So right now, Alina, is that, in your opinion, good enough? Or do they need to go out and find, I don't know, some left back? I'm really curious for your opinion as, the avid United supporter you are with that Harry Maguire jersey.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think fullback in general is such a hard position to find and fill. I'm not saying that Shaw is bad or anything. I think he does the job. He'll go out there and play his best, but is he United quality? I don't think so. Now, if you're going to ask me who is a possible replacement for Shaw, that I don't know, depending on how much money United are willing to pay. But I don't know. I feel like there's.
How do you feel about Malacia really quick before you get off of Shaw? Like, I'm curious. Do you think Malacia is good enough to replace him?
I think possibly, but I don't. At this point, I don't think he is better though.
Man, Max, I'm really curious, bro. Shaw's interesting because he goes through spurts.
He does.
And look, he just got tried out at center back. I don't even know how to feel about that shit. But
he played really well.
That's crazy, right? It's almost like Harry Maguire has to be pissed as shit. I can't even imagine what Harry's going through.
So Luke Shaw actually played center back 3 years ago. He was tried there. He was tried out at left center back like 2-3 years ago.
How tall is he?
Pretty good. He's 5'8", 5'9". Same size as Martinez. I think Martinez actually might be slightly shorter.
Yeah, but Martinez has that dog in him, though. He
does have that dog in him.
Okay, so curious, Max, your thoughts on what Alina said. Shaw good enough for left back long term? Do they need to look at other options in the window?
I think Luke Shaw is good enough to be our left back going forward. It's usually when a stricter or a tougher competition comes into play for Luke Shaw, then all of a sudden it becomes, Roberto Carlos again. And when Malacia first came and started playing well especially against Arsenal and Liverpool, I think that unlocked Luke Shaw's abilities once again. Because, he had a good Euros, he had a good World Cup. And then he was back on the bench for a little bit. And Malacia was starting over him, and he was playing well. And then Luke Shaw started, I think, the next 2 games, and was the old Luke Shaw. So I think it's the competition effect, because the same thing happened like when Alex Telles was first introduced to United. He came in, the same thing happened. There was a little bit of competition. Now Luke Shaw was playing well. So it's the same thing with Malacia. I don't think Malacia is better than Luke Shaw, at least not yet. He's very young. He's also small and.
He's feisty, though. He's feisty.
He is. And we all know the Premier League is very, very physical. Mm-hmm. But right now, I still think Luke Shaw is our best left back going forward. I don't think we need to go out right now in January window to get a left back. I think it would be a waste of money. I think we're good with what we have, but I think Luke Shaw, at least going forward for now, is a good option. And there's very little good left backs on the market right now. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, I don't know, like, it's not that I agree necessarily that Luke Shaw is, like, the permanent solution. I just don't know if there's a better option. I have the same argument with people about, like, managers. Like, everyone's calling for Graham Potter's head at Chelsea right now. And it's like,
Yeah.
Are there actually, like, is there actually a manager right now, someone who's experienced that's, can fill the big shoes?
Luis Enrique.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is he still has to make good of those players. Like, still has to deal with the foundation of players that he has.
Exactly, and that's my issue with a lot of Chelsea. Well, I think a lot of Chelsea fans are actually saying what we're all saying. This is not Potter's fault.
Yeah, so, I don't blame him.
Yeah,
no,
I agree.
I mean,
you can't do it. I think I also said in the last episode about Chelsea how I didn't even have them like close to the top 6 because they never fixed their issues from the summer. Like
they spent $200 million, and didn't even address like the actual
didn't address any of their issues. But also, you got to remember they spent that much money in the summer for Tuchel, not for Potter.
But even then, the glaring holes in the midfield were still there. And what they did, they signed center backs. They signed
no creativity. Reece James, if Reece James is not playing, oh my God, forget about it. No one's doing anything in the midfield.
Yeah, dude.
to create anything for these forwards. And then they signed Aubameyang, but I don't think Aubameyang's that guy anymore. Unfortunately, I just don't think he's that guy. And Sterling's like when they make that Sterling signing, I said Sterling's not like a goal scorer. Like he's not going to go out and get you 18 plus goals this year. That's not who he is. So you spent all this money but never fixed any of your problems.
Before we get off of Chelsea really quick, why can't Mason Mount be that guy? Why can't Mason Mount be the creative outlet in the middle of the field who dictates how the play works? Does he not just have that in his locker, or is it?
I don't think he was ever that. Maybe I'm wrong, but was he ever that guy to do that?
I just thought he had like potential. Like when he was coming up, you would see the blistering through ball. You would see like him try to dictate the tempo a little bit with the help of Jorginho and Kovacic, but like him try to do something because I haven't felt like Chelsea's had that creative midfield piece, right? He didn't have the Eriksen or the Odegaard. Like he didn't have they never had someone that could just take it and sort of out of nothing create something. But I thought Mason Mount, because he was young, maybe had the potential, and he's the homegrown product. They know him in and out. I don't know. I just thought
maybe it comes down to management. I don't know to unlock that because I don't. With Mason Mount, it's like I don't understand. Like what is he good at?
Yeah.
Like that's my question. Is like what is Mason Mount good at? If he was supposed to be that midfielder who's going to create for you, he's literally not doing that at all. I don't know when he has actually really done that consistently. So what is he good at?
Bro, Chelsea fans in the mud. That's the greatest question somebody's asked in the show in a while. Like, what is Mason Mount good at?
What is Mason Mount good at?
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's like for a midfielder finishing, but is he even a midfielder? Like, is he a forward? I don't.
Yeah, like you don't know if he's.
I don't even know what he
more
plays.
Of an attacking midfield. Is he a center mid? Can he play the wing? Like what? I genuinely do not know what Mason Mount's role is. I'm so confused. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question to ask. I mean, I don't know. I think, and again, this is kind of going off on a bit of a rabbit hole, but I think that, coming back to what we were talking about with Shaw, it's like one of those scenarios, right, where you have to have someone in the market. There has to be a solution. Otherwise, it's not really a problem. Like, I think Luke Shaw is, and I think he showed even in the World Cup, guarding someone like Ousmane Dembele. We talked about it on this show. The fact that this whole narrative around the World Cup was, all you have to do is stop Kylian Mbappe. And I'm like, in my head, as a Barca fan, I'm thinking, are we just going to pretend that there isn't another extremely speedy winger on the other side that knows how to go beat defenders one-on-one, and we're asking Luke Shaw to defend him? And he did. Like, he effectively, I don't think Dembele did anything, really, in that game. It really was kind of the Kyle Walker Mbappe show. So, I don't know. I like Luke Shaw. I just think his motivation was out the window sometimes. And I worry.
Yes, that goes back to what I was saying about just if there's no competition, then Luke Shaw gets lazy. That's just he just gets lazy.
Yeah.
Once the competition steps up, all of a sudden Luke Shaw comes out of his hole and becomes the Luke Shaw that we all know he can be.
Yeah, Mourinho was right. I think Mourinho was right at least a little bit in terms of like Luke Shaw needs to have that external motivation, but when he has it, he's on. Okay. So let's keep Luke Shaw there. Malacia, long-term option. I think Ten Hag loves him. I've obviously seen him a lot in the Eredivisie. At some point, I think he's going to find his way into the fold. Two center back pairings. The center back pairing, I should say. Martinez and Varane. Alina, you're wearing the Maguire jersey. I hate to do this to you. Is Harry going to get sold this window?
Man, he is so different when he plays for England, and then when he plays for United. So I personally, I think it's time for him to go. It's clear that both Maguire and United are just not happy with their situation right now. So I do think that if he finds I think he's been linked to Aston Villa, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you guys heard that lately.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Mings and Maguire being the pairing?
Man,
I don't know.
at least he would get some starting time.
Yeah, I mean, if the system's right for Maguire, I think we might have talked about this a little bit too on the pod, Alina. Like, if the system is right for Maguire, like you mentioned with England, the low block system works. It's when he has to play a high line that he gets massively exposed.
Absolutely. He looks lost on high lines. Like, he doesn't know where he needs to be.
And is that what Ten Hag's going to do, Max, moving forward? Like, he's going to keep doing this where he high presses and he needs fast center backs to completely cover him. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's turn over to Max then. Martinez and Varane. You feel good about those guys as a United fan? Like, you're locked in for those two?
I'm locked in. As long as they're healthy, I'm locked in.
And maybe Shaw as like the replacement for, let's say, either one of them in the event that you need to access another center back.
Yes. I mean, Lindelof's also not a bad backup. To be honest, Maguire, I don't think Maguire's a I like Maguire. It's just, I don't think he can, I don't know how to say it. It's just, he's
be honest, bro. Let it out.
It's just frustrating, you know? But I think this window he's going to stay.
Okay.
That Villa link turned out to be false, but I think he's gone in the summer, so we will have to go get another center back because unfortunately Varane doesn't really stay healthy. But
how much of that transfer fee do you guys recoup for Maguire?
Probably maybe half.
That's actually not bad. It's actually better than I thought it might have been.
I don't think they should sell it for any less than 40. If you want to make something back, you got to sell for at least like 40.
Who's going to buy Maguire for 40 million though?
Oh, Chelsea almost bought him.
That's the thing. It's like 40 million is it's a good amount. I mean,
but it's not a lot in this market right now. This market's very it's very high right now.
Inflated. Yeah.
Inflated. So I don't think that's crazy as crazy as that sounds, but I don't think it's that crazy. 40 mil.
He still has to play for you guys to sell him though. Like, he still has to show what he can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's what Ten Hag is doing right now. I think he is playing him. He's played him in the last game. He kept a clean sheet. He comes in like the 75th, 80th minute is the close game. He does his job, So I don't think Maguire is that bad of a player. I just don't think he fits our system, and I think people need to realize that. Mm-hmm. That's why he plays so well for England. That system he's in works, but ultimately, I just do not think United should sell him for no less than 40 mil.
He just needs cover. Like, at the end of the day, he needs protection as a center back, and that's what Southgate. That's why he loves him. Is he's a big body. He does when he's not forced to be the entire plug by himself in that back line. He actually does pretty well. Like when they run that low block system. So I think somebody will get him. Somebody who's pragmatic. Somebody who plays very direct football. I do kind of agree with Alina. 40 million is it is an inflated market. I just think that someone will try to work that down. Someone will try to get him for 20, 25.
Yeah. Probably. I could see that with the add-ons and everything.
Yeah, that's another thing. They might make it incentive-based. Who knows? But I do think that he'll need to play a little bit throughout the second half of the season to be an asset that they can sell. But
I think he will, because this schedule is so bad. We have games like every 3 days, so he's going to play. He's going to have to play. There's no way he can't, because the schedule is so jam-packed. Like, there's a game every 3 days at this point.
It's crazy, man. It makes me nervous for injuries too. Like, I'm knocking on wood like every other day. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, look, so we're almost through this back line. We have the right back. Like I said, I called it before. I think that this back line is pretty damn solid. You have Diogo Dalot. I think he, in my opinion, is a hell of a right back. I think he gets a little temperamental, but I'm okay with that if I'm Ten Hag.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think he's someone that you guys are going to lock down to a long-term contract very soon, and he's probably the right back for the future. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
But I hear these rumors though that you guys are shopping for another option just to have, right? You wouldn't replace Dallo with anybody on the market today, and there are actually more than a few right backs. You got Pedro Porro, you got Fresneza, who I think is probably going to end up with Newcastle. But there's more than a few right backs on the market today. You wouldn't replace Dallo with anybody.
Not at the moment. If there was anybody, Denzel Dumfries, I think that would be a good option. But
or about like Jeremy Frimpong, you wouldn't do that one?
Depends on how much we would have to spend for him. I think Dumfries is a little bit more proven than Frimpong, but
yeah.
Especially after what we see in the World Cup and us Americans, how he just
bro, we're not talking about that right now, man. Like we know he shit on us a little bit. It's okay. We're okay with that. I mean, it was, and against Argentina it was a little bit different. But it was only really that one moment that he had that, the penalty that he brought down Acuna, and it is what it is. But either way, I think he's like someone to give Dallo competitions. I do think competition breeds improvement. Iron sharpens iron. So
but I will say, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Don't count out Wan-Bissaka yet. If you look at Wan-Bissaka, he's been screamed at by fans. He hasn't even played this year until he didn't play the first 4 months of last year at all. And saying
he played the first game back though.
Well, the first game back, yes, the first game back because Diogo was hurt. But before that, he didn't play at all. People were telling him he should be sold, this and that. Been an absolute professional player, and he comes in and plays the way he played the first game back from the World Cup. I just wouldn't count him out. Like I think I know there's a lot of issues with Wan-Bissaka. Well, maybe not a lot of issues, but there's some.
It's just attacking, bro. That's it.
There's some bad issues that he does have, but I think he can be developed a little bit. Man, look what Ten Hag has been doing with Garnacho. Garnacho came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a good point.
Okay, so I want to dig into this
a little bit.
That's true, but do you think he can correct? Like for me, maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong. He
had a really nice assist the first game he came back.
He did. That actually surprised me, bro. I was pleasantly surprised. I think
we were all surprised. But that's what I'm saying. You just some players just need to be given a chance before we can count them out.
And maybe it was the Palace loan, right? Maybe he improved. Maybe he got enough time to actually sink into his shoes. Maybe Vieira got to him a little bit. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. For me, it was never defense. I thought he was kind of a raw defender a little bit.
Incredible.
But dude, his ability to stick with an attacker one-on-one it's annoying. He's a pest, and in the best way possible for United. So I think defensively he offers so much. I just wonder about him going forward. To me, Dallo is so far ahead on that side of his game. And I just don't know if Bissaka overplay.
I feel like when you have a club, there's no way you have two of the same players though. You know what I'm saying? There's no shot you have two of the same perfect right backs. One's always going to be better than the other. That's why that one gets chosen more. So I don't if it's up to him, I don't mind him being the backup. If we can save money and put that money elsewhere in the midfield and in the striker position, I would save that money. I wouldn't go get another right back. Because I think from what I've seen so far from Wan-Bissaka, he looks like he's good enough to at least play for United right now.
At a minimum, he's good enough to play in cup competitions, and he's able to, again, keep Dallo on his toes because I think what we always see, right, is that the minute certain players get long-term contracts or whatever it may be, I don't know. I'm not saying that people get comfortable, but you want your players to have a certain level of pressure on them so they stay sharp. And I like the idea of two quality outside backs competing for that one spot. So if it's Wan-Bissaka, great. If it's not, I still think that you guys could go out and get somebody else.
Mm-hmm. So I agree. I just feel we have, I think, a little bit more important position that we need to spend our money for this window at least. I'm not talking about the summer where we're free to do a little bit more, but this window, I think our right back position right now is currently okay,
as good as it can probably get.
Yeah,
I don't think that you can believe make it that much better in January, which is good. I think that, like I mentioned before, I think this back four looks really, really good. So far, again, we're staying with United. United has surprisingly a good foundation, because I think a lot of United fans were saying before the season started, before Ten Hag got here, get rid of all of them, get rid of everybody. There's no motivation. like get rid of everybody, ship the whole team out. And it's kind of actually a breath of fresh air, even as someone who's not a United fan, to see like, hey, if you guys could just stop panicking for 10 seconds, there's potential here. There's talent here. You just need a coach that can mold it the right way. And look, I mean, we're sitting here talking about this United, and this back line, we wouldn't change anything. I mean, are we all in agreement there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Moving on. The two pivots. I think one of them is probably more than solidified, at least in my opinion. The other one, I don't know. We'll talk about it. So the first one, I'll take the first stab at this, because, and I've had full blown conversation or arguments with United fans about this, especially when he first started. Casemiro. I think it's, in my opinion, this guy's locked down his position. He's always been a world class player, and I'm a Barca fan saying that, and it's amazing to me the level of shtick this man got when he first got to United. Max, what was your honest opinion in those first 3 or 4 matches with Casemiro? Why was McMuffin starting over him? McMuffin, aka McTominay. Sorry.
I was like, who's
he just
that?
He just got to the club. That's just it. He needed some time to really understand the system. Listen, I think Ten Hag knows what he's doing. He clearly does. That's why we're in this position right now, fighting for top 4.
So you would have started McTominay over Casemiro in that first Manchester derby.
Would I have started McTominay?
Yeah,
probably not.
Thank you.
I would have started Casemiro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. That's all that I wanted to know. But go ahead.
Yeah, but Ten Hag knew, he had his reasons, and guess what? For the derby, but for Arsenal, at least he had his reasons, and we came out with a win.
I don't think that was because of McTominay. Personally,
no, McTominay actually played really well that game.
He did. He played well for McTominay.
No, because listen, sometimes when players, when their position's in jeopardy, all of a sudden they're like, I gotta step my game up, and that's exactly what he did. Because I was like, where did this Scotty come from? This is the Scotty we've been looking for the last 2 years. Because where did you come from?
Now, keep in mind, in that game, right? We're talking about that Arsenal match. Now, I want people I want to remind Premier League fans everywhere that as much as people can feel, oh man, we got to win over Arsenal. This is the youngest contender for a title maybe ever. Like, this team is so young through and through. The lack of experience they have, the fact that we're talking about even in that game, I would have started Casemiro. I just think that he offers so much more in experience over McTominay. I actually have a bullish opinion. I think McTominay is not good enough for Manchester United, in my opinion.
I've always said that. I've always said McTominay's not good enough for United. I've said that for years. Like, I don't even know how he lasted this long, but I had
United fans coming at my throat for saying that Casemiro should have started over McTominay in the Manchester derby, and I will stand by that. I will die on that hill. I think he just offers so much more. Even if he doesn't have the greatest game, who's to say McTominay was going to have it, right? And he didn't against City. He did against Arsenal.
He did against Arsenal.
But I don't know. It's just too back and forth. Like, it's we get a version of him one day and another version of him the next day. It's too wish-wash. I don't know. I mean, Alina, how do you feel about that? The argument of whether, put Casemiro aside, is McTominay good enough from your perspective for United?
No, I don't think so. And I don't know. I feel like I want to go back to what Ten Hag said. He came out and said a couple days ago, and it's that there's a lot of players that you can get that are average at best, and they will never be able to kind of put the United jersey on, because it is a heavy one. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of expectations. Yep. And when I think of that player, that's what comes to my mind. Is he average? Yes. Is he gonna be able to put in a shift? Yes. But is he United level? No, he's not. Or at least to where they would hope to be, what they're working for.
I fully agree. I know I shit on him a lot, guys. Like I do. Anybody who's watched this show, I mean, I do. I don't think I think he can play for a Premier League club. I think he can play for maybe like someone in the second half of the table. Like I think he can offer value to a team, 100%. I think the team he comes into has to, he has to fit well. It has to be a very the ask from him can't be what United asks of Casemiro, but I think he does. He has the intangibles physically. He's shown that he can step his game up for big matches. We all saw it against Arsenal. And, I think that there is going to be someone who gets him. But I think United, whether it's, I don't think it'll happen in January, but I don't know, maybe even as soon as this summer, somebody in that midfield has to go. And I think it's going to be him. I just don't see him sticking around.
So it will be Scotty.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Be Scotty.
He's a homegrown talent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, like for me, homegrown talent, like he's nothing compared to Rashford. Like what Rashford's doing for United, even before this season, like very few players go from the academy to the first team like that. Not to say Scotty shouldn't have been one of those guys. It's just hard for me to accept him at a club as big as United. I don't know. It seems like what Alina was saying, another average player that should find an exit soon. So with that said, though, guys, Casemiro, I think he's a lock. Are we in agreement on that for the first pivot?
Yeah.
Okay. The second one's super crucial. I don't even know if, okay, Max, clarify this for me. Is it more Eriksen, like playing so deep?
It's
Is
Eriksen.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think at 29, coming up on 30, that Eriksen's going to continue to be the guy? Is there another pivot in the market you would go after if you had it your way?
If I had the money, it'd be Enzo.
Damn.
Enzo or Jude, but those are very far stretches. I don't think we're going to get either. But if I had the money, I would go get Enzo.
You think you guys get Enzo in the summer?
If Enzo doesn't leave this window, which I don't know what's going on, because Chelsea first said they were going to pay the clause, and now they decided to say, no, let me give you 80 mil. So I don't know what's going on. And Enzo's pissed. Benfica's pissed, so I don't know what's going to happen with that situation. But if he can last the summer, because I think Jude's going to Real Madrid. If we can go get Enzo, I think we put our foot down and literally do what we have to do to get Enzo in the midfield.
I actually think so. Here's why I think United's going to get to fill that spot. I don't think Eriksen's the long-term solution. I think he's a depth player after this season.
Yeah, he is.
But I think that Enzo could be a really interesting option. The whole situation with Chelsea, I read into this like very in depth. Dude, Enzo's still young, pretty naive. He listened to Chelsea's representatives before listening to his own home club. That's where he fucked up. It went as far as he listened to Chelsea when they told him, hey, you need to put pressure on your manager and on your board to make the move happen, after Chelsea said they were going to pay the release clause and then tried to negotiate after the fact. It sounds like, American capitalism at its finest. And then, when he did that, when he literally went AWOL for a couple of days, went to Argentina, didn't come back to training on time, went to Roger Schmidt, told him he didn't want to play in the Braga game, which is a massive rivalry game.
It's a massive game.
Told him he didn't want to play. He wasn't up for it. They played him anyway. He played like shit. And then basically now, I think he's kind of screwed. Like his whole team doesn't trust him anymore. They benched him for this last game. Even if Schmidt puts him back into that lineup, like, I just don't know what to expect in terms of what his teammates are thinking, how he's playing, the whole situation. I personally think because of what happened, I don't think Chelsea get him, but I feel like someone has to save him now.
I'm hearing Benfica fans saying to cut his contract. They don't want him at the club anymore.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. It's really bad.
It's really bad. Like I'm hearing a lot of Benfica fans saying, cut his contract, terminate his contract, get rid of him. We don't want him.
But they have to make money on him.
I don't think they can. Yeah. The club has to, but the fans are like, Benfica fans are so passionate about Benfica. They're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, seriously.
They're like, really, like, fuck him. We don't want him at the club anymore. Yeah. So I don't think they want him to ever even like put on the jersey anymore. So
I think he came out and said, but I think that, just to, not sorry to cut you off, I think the reason why that part of that I left out, and that's playing into all of this, is I don't know if anybody confirmed this, but apparently Enzo did like I don't know if he did like an interview, but someone heard him say in talks that he's Benfica should be more understanding because they know he's kind of just using the club as a stepping stool to another club. And look, man, you always think that. Players always think that. You never say that shit.
You can't say that. Yeah,
you can't say it, bro. It's so bad.
Like it's just like Enzo. Who do you think you are? You're not Mbappe. You're not Mbappe. You're not even Jude level.
But
so
bro, try to empathize a little bit, right? I'm not saying it's right, but the guy is like 21, 22. He just won a World Cup with Argentina. He is kind of talked about in every major circle for transfers.
I understand that, but we're acting like Benfica's not in the fucking next level of the Champions League.
They're playing
well. They haven't lost a game.
Yeah, there's a lot with Benfica this season.
Listen, it's different if Benfica is literally like not winning, or maybe just not. They haven't lost a game. Like they're playing out of their mind this year. So that's my issue. Like, why are you doing this when you're at a club that actually may have a chance to compete really far? And this Champions League is kind of up in the air right now. I don't know who the hell's going to win.
It's really weird. It's a really weird season.
It's really weird. Like, but there's no Bayern's hurt. Real Madrid's not look like Real Madrid from last year. City
looks weird. City looks weird. PSG, who knows?
Yeah, Messi might be hungover for the rest of the 6 months. Neymar might be depressed. Mbappe's hungry. Well, he's always hungry. So who knows who's winning the Champions League this year? But all I know is Benfica's looking fucking amazing.
They are. And after what we saw with Morocco, there has to be like some kind of faith. Like, I think that Benfica should be like, dude, if they could do that in the biggest tournament, why can't we like make some waves in Champions League?
That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't get like why he wants to go to Chelsea, who's looking miserable right now.
Is it arrogance? Is it just I want to be in the Prem? Like, is that I don't know, what is it?
Bro, you're gonna get the money. Like, what is the difference? You're already a millionaire. You're gonna get the money in the next like 6 months, so it's okay.
Okay, so this is a good question then. Do you, as a United fan, want that player? Do you want that personality? You want that personality in the locker room?
I know what he's worth, but I just think that he had so many people in his head. Like, I feel bad for. Honestly, I feel bad for the kid. I do. I think Chelsea are also mainly in the wrong, because you don't go talk to a player like that. You just don't go talk to a player and say, "We're gonna get you. Don't worry," and then it doesn't happen. Now you're fucking up his situation in this club, and now look what happens. This is what's happening right now. So I don't like. I feel like if this was between United and Benfica, I don't think this situation would have happened like this. I just think if we wanted him, we would have paid the release clause, because Benfica doesn't have to sell him.
No,
they don't want to sell him.
They don't want to at all.
Clause. So why would we tell someone we're gonna pay the release clause and then try to negotiate? That does not make any sense.
And the fucked up part is they can. Like, Boli, if he wanted to, like, this whole
situation
with Enzo is like the fucked up part is they can. They just don't want to. They
just
told
don't want
Benfica that they would. Then Benfica's like, okay, cool, let's negotiate, let's figure out the details. And they're like, they pedaled backwards and when the whole world knows that Boli has the money. And then they tried to use Enzo as the leverage point. If I was Enzo, I'd be so fucking mad at Chelsea. I would rule them off the table entirely.
I wouldn't even go to Chelsea after this, because it ruined his situation with Benfica. I don't think the kid had anything like negative to say about Benfica, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think he got put in the wrong situation with Chelsea. And if I was him, I would say, fuck you, Chelsea. I will go somewhere else.
After now, Benfica saying, fuck you, Enzo. Like, get out of here.
Because I don't think, to be honest, he may not even play another game this year, which might be actually really bad.
Dude, it's so bad. I don't know. I think somebody will get him. I do think it's going to be like United or Liverpool. Because again, it could have been Chelsea, but I still don't even know. Like, Enzo's a part of the puzzle. He could fix some of the problems that Chelsea has, but he's not. He's kind of like a dual pivot. Like, he's not an out and out creative midfielder. No. He doesn't solve their problems. So I can see why Boli didn't want to pay the release clause, but then just don't say you're going to do it.
Then don't say that you're going to do that. Yeah. Now you put the kid in such a bad situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we don't think it's Enzo for this window. It's probably
United are not going after another midfielder.
Yeah. No. You think it's probably off? Okay. Off the table. Yeah. So to answer the question of who you think is going to be in summer, let's just fast forward for a quick second for the sake of argument. If you had to choose between Enzo, Jude, and I don't know, maybe some other midfielder that I'm not including for right now. And keep in mind, a lot of people think that Jude's going to go to Real Madrid. I actually think that Jude, when all is said and done, when he has all the options on the table, that he's probably going to want to go back home. I don't know. It's just me. I think that he had a lot of pride wearing the England jersey. I think he's going to go to like United or Liverpool. That's just me, though.
But when you don't know when Real Madrid or Barca come calling, bro.
It's true, but like
it's different.
Okay, let's say United
love your country that much. Real Madrid is calling me. Pick up that phone.
But where's he going to play though? Is the thing, right? Because look, this is my thing.
Retiring, man. And
he is. But
Modric didn't sign that contract yet.
Yeah, but keep in mind, right? Let's say I say Real Madrid are going to go get Mbappe. I think that happens, as soon as maybe this summer.
I don't think he leaves this summer.
Maybe. Who knows? I think a lot of things are shifting at PSG. We'll find out what happens. And you're right. Mbappe's hungry in a way after the World Cup that he probably hasn't been in a while. I think maybe he realizes he fucked up. Maybe. And with his renewal decision. I think he's going to end up at Real Madrid at some point. Fetty's going to come back into the midfield. And I think the three in the midfield will end up being Chouameni, Camavinga, and Fetty. That's really what I think happens. And I think it unless they change their system, I don't know. Jude's not just an easy fit, and who knows? It could be a front three of Vinny, Mbappe, and Haaland. Like I don't even know if that ends up coming to fruition. But like I don't know. I think Real Madrid's gonna be spending a lot of money in the coming seasons. I think Jude wants to be the star of the show. I think he could be that at United. He could be that at Liverpool, and more importantly, he's going back to his home country. That's just how it works in my mind. But you're right. When the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid, comes knocking. Like, it's very, very difficult to say no. Mm-hmm. You're okay. You're the guest today, bro. I'm not going to argue on that front. Maybe the second biggest club. I will say, you are a gigantic club when you have this many fucking transfer rumors. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, United's linked
to everybody.
To fucking everybody.
Everybody.
Biggest even brand Jude. In the world. Holy shit. So, okay, let's go back to the question. I'll ask both of you actually. Before we get to Max, let's start with Alina. Do you fast forwarding to summer? Do you prioritize Enzo, knowing all the bullshit we know now, Jude Bellingham, or someone else maybe that you have on your radar?
I think if it's possible to get Jude, then I would 1,000% put all my eggs in one basket and go after him.
Hell
because
yeah.
Here's the thing with Enzo, like I didn't know who he was before the World Cup. Like I heard about him at Benfica, but obviously not to the extent that we are hearing about him right now. How everyone wants him, blah blah blah. I think. Whereas with Jude, I feel like he's been. I mean, it's crazy, but he's been around for at least a couple of years. Like we've heard about him. He's a lot more established, and I think it'd be safer too because I feel like at this point they probably cost around the same amount, like the 120 million. So why not go after someone who is more established and just more humble too? So yeah. I personally, if I was United, and if I had the choice and the chance, I would 1,000% go after Jude. And not
Hell yes. Captain of Dortmund at 19 years old. I just love that. Max, if I were you, bro, like that, I agree with wholeheartedly with Alina. I would go all in. Every dollar that you possibly could throw at it.
I think any United fan would love Jude at United. I think some of us are being a little bit more realistic. Jude wants to come here, but I 100% would rather get Jude than Enzo. Jude is like the perfect player. He's young. He's hungry. When we talk about Martinez having that dog, Jude has that dog in him. Jude is that guy.
He's everywhere on the field. Everywhere.
He's everywhere. I love Jude. But if we have a chance of signing Jude, we take that chance.
So when
as
you
hard as possible.
When you say realistic options, in my mind, these are two names that outside of Jude and Enzo that I was thinking of that I would love to see happen. And I'm putting my team biases aside for a second. If I'm putting myself in a United fan shoes, outside of these two, the other two names I think resonate really well and are realistic: Declan Rice and Frankie De Jong. How do you feel about those two?
I don't want Declan. I don't think he's worth that price that West Ham is trying to, list him as. I wouldn't want to take Declan Rice, but
you don't think he's a good player regardless of the price?
I think he's a good player. I don't know. I don't think I would want him at United.
Okay. What about Frankie?
Round two.
I heard he's now open to it. I mean, obviously United's doing way better, so
Yeah, after we beat them next month, you're gonna be like, I should have joined United.
No,
I would have gone further.
and I have a bold prediction on that front too. I think United will win the Europa League. I am calling it.
Wow.
I thought about this a lot over the break during the World Cup. I asked the question quite a bit too, obviously, right? Because from an Arsenal perspective and a Barcelona perspective, I think from Arsenal's perspective, they don't have the depth to prioritize multiple.
Not even they don't even care about the Europa League.
They don't give a shit. And they shouldn't go after the Prem.
Yeah, fuck. You
need to play bench players. Like you just need to give them experience. Give Marquinhos experience. Give Fabio Vieira experience. Like let them try to win something in Europa League, but the priority is the title chart.
It's definitely the league. It's winning the league. Like winning the league right now after City has won it for the last what?
Oh man,
who knows?
Four out of the last 5 seasons.
4 of the last 5 seasons. That's
and nobody saw it coming. Nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Insane feat, so. And then from Barcelona's perspective, I think that Xavi is still very young, naive. I think that he was the right person to get Barca out of where they were last season. I've been very critical of him this season. I think that we'll see how he does against Atletico Madrid later today. But I think that when push comes to shove, Barca is kind of in somewhat of the same boat where they want to win La Liga. They want to finally take a trophy. In the last couple seasons, Real Madrid has just dominated so much that we want to take a trophy from them, so to speak. And at the end of the day, I don't think Barcelona's ever been a club that's cared too much about Europa League. I think last season was the perfect example. We almost cared way more about beating Napoli than winning the Europa League. We didn't show up against Frankfurt. It looked like the energy just wasn't there. Barcelona, I don't know. They do this. They prioritize Spanish competitions above most things outside of Champions League. I don't know. I think that I could see Barca sleeping on United and just losing. Like it's. Right. I feel like United also need this trophy. I think that they're going to finish top 4. Yeah. And you need this. You lost the Europa League final in the worst way possible. And like the worst way possible to penalties. I felt so bad for Solskjaer. I think that this is going to be it. I think that you guys are going to beat some powerhouse teams in the Europa League to win the trophy. And this is going to springboard United back into that consistent, that the Ten Hag era, the consistent, what we used to see from United year in and year out, always being in the top 4, always reigniting that rivalry with Arsenal in a really big way. I don't know. I could see it all playing out that way, but I don't know, Max. Am I horribly off?
No, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And I will say one thing about Barca is I feel like if they don't win the league, because I don't think they're going to win the Europa League. If they win the league, so. I think Xavi is gone and Luis Enrique is coming back to Barca.
I think so too. I think that's probably what ends up happening. That, or I heard there were some crazy rumors that like Tuchel, was on the candidate short list, and maybe even in a world where Liverpool lets go of Klopp, bringing Klopp to La Liga to give him a new project. I think we need more experience, no matter what. Like if Xavi came 6-7 years down the road, maybe it works out better. But I think these personalities are too big for him. I think it worked really well last season because it was just kids. It was kids. Yeah. So I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. We did kind of go off on a tangent there. So Frankie de Jong, do you think he's a better option than? I mean, he probably is a better option than Eriksen through and through. Do you think that that's going to be who United ends up prioritizing, or is it going to be someone like Enzo?
I think United will probably prioritize Frankie because that's Ten Hag's guy. So if it was me, I would probably go after Jude and Enzo, and then maybe Frankie. But knowing Ten Hag really wanted Frankie, he'll probably prioritize getting Frankie next summer.
But in this window, Eriksen.
In this window, they're not going after a midfield this window.
Yeah. And Eriksen's played well. Yeah. I mean, to his credit.
No, he has played well.
Yeah, I like what I see from him.
Yeah, I think between Casemiro, Bruno, and Eriksen, I think that's a perfect midfield right now.
Yeah,
a lot of creativity, defensive, attributes for Casemiro. He's everywhere on the pitch, also assisting. He's Casemiro's the fucking best DM in the world.
But it's crazy how much doubt there was, bro. It blows my mind. Like the fans can't be paid. Like, dude, give him a month. Like, can we just put the brakes on a little bit? Like, this guy just is coming off of 5 Champions Leagues for Real Madrid. He knows what he's doing. Does he need to get acclimated to the Prem? Sure, but can we not oust him at the first sign of nervousness? Like, I don't know. Casemiro, I never had any doubt. I knew he was going to be the warrior that he needed to be for Manchester United, and he's showing it. I think anybody who had McTominay over that guy, I don't know. Check yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think that at the end of the day, your ball knowledge is slipping a little bit.
Yeah. And then we have to sorry to add to that because we forgot about Fred.
How do you feel about Fred?
I think Fred's a good player, man. I think people, the minute Fred does something wrong, they want him out. The minute he does something right, they're like, give him a contract extension. Make up your mind. Like, Fred is a good player, guy. Like, he's a good player. I never said Fred was a bad player.
Would you start him over Eriksen?
Right now, no. But no, I probably wouldn't start him over Eriksen. I think he's a perfect, not a replacement, but he's a perfect, sub to come in the 70th minute with Casemiro to help get the win. But I don't think I would start him over Eriksen. I just don't think Fred is better than Eriksen right now. I think Eriksen has earned his spot in the starting 11.
Okay. That's fair. Look, here, I kind of feel the way you do about Fred a little bit, in the sense that the comparison I always make is there was that time before Fred came to United that he was linked with City. And if he had gone to City, I feel like none of the criticism ever would have really come. There probably would have been moments for Fred for sure, but I feel like in the right system and the right support around him, Fred, could have just been that next Brazilian holding mid that we're all kind of just raving about. But because he had to go through those growing pains with United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where even him as a manager was still trying to figure out what the proper system is, who the proper fit is for his system, trying to get his training wheels off as a manager. He had to go through all of that as a player, and I think it's not really fair to just be like, oh, Fred's trash. He's not Premier League level. He's not Man United level. Like, we need to move on from him. I think he offers a lot as a depth player. I would almost, I don't know. Like if you guys, like for example, let's say United gets Frankie. Like, who do you let go of? Is it Eriksen? Because you have to sell somebody. Having that many pivots, it's
Eriksen's
tough.
contract's only 1 year.
Oh, so, do you think he'll earn another one?
If he wants to stay, that'll be up to him. I think United might give him an extension, but he might have to take a salary
reduction
cut.
Yeah,
because a lot of players are going to have to start taking salary cuts. Because I don't know if you guys saw the report that they're going to have a salary cap at $200K. So a lot of players are taking are going to have to take a salary cut.
Wait, the Prem is having a salary cap?
No, the United.
Yeah.
Oh,
I heard.
I did not hear that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it's actually genuine good idea. People are going to say, well, how are we going to get big players? If it's Mbappe or somebody of that caliber, they're obviously going to get a different contract. Like, that's just how it works. But I think how it's going to work now is everything needs to be under 200K, and how you make more money is through bonuses and awards and stuff like that. So I think that's how it's going to play out.
Yeah, and look, you can always structure contracts different. There's plenty of incentives for a player to go after that don't pertain to salary. Yeah. So I think there's plenty of opportunity there. Alina, if let's say United gets Jude, I want you to just kind of get your thoughts. Do you think Eriksen is the person that they don't extend and let go of and say, hey, thank you for your help. We'll let you go do what you want to do, or do they try to sell Fred?
I think they should keep Eriksen, maybe extend him for 1 or 2 more seasons. But if Jude does come in, or if any other player comes in for Eriksen, maybe then Eriksen could be that guy that comes off the bench, and he's going to be more of that like depth player, depth midfielder. I don't think they should sell him. Personally, I don't think so. Just because of that reason, I think he would be an excellent player coming off the bench and maybe resting other players.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Again, I think it goes back to what Max said about, does he want to be there? Is that type of role good for him? Like, for him and what he wants to accomplish with the rest of his career? It's probably not.
He starting.
He's ambitious. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Who knows if Fred wants to be that guy too.
He's been that guy.
He has been that guy.
Yeah.
He has been that guy.
He's been that guy. And I don't think he's been upset about it either.
I mean, bro, in all honesty, United's a big club. Like, if I were him,
why am I going to leave? What am I leaving for?
Yeah. And your boy Casemiro's there now. I mean, like who knows? Like, I don't know.
I'm in a perfect situation right now. I'm going to play. It's not like he's not going to get playing time. He's going to get playing time.
No, there's so many matches. He's going to get playing time. So yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think it's probably going to end up being a situation where Eriksen leaves, but if he doesn't, I still think he's a fantastic depth player to have.
Absolutely, Eriksen's awesome.
For the purposes of this 11, we're going to keep that pairing there. Casemiro and Eriksen. That should be how this team continues to look. Guys, we haven't made any real major changes just yet, despite all of the rumors and the links. But I got a feeling this might change just a little bit as we get closer to the front line. At Cam, this is such a 50-50, for me anyway, argument to have, because I feel like Bruno has a love-hate relationship with his own performances.
I would say Bruno's probably the most frustrating player to watch in all of football.
It's just, I don't know. It's like, it's a coin toss. I don't know what to expect. He has flashes of brilliance, and then he has flashes of, dude, what the hell are you doing? What is that?
There's an interview or a quote that came from Bruno that said I think to Rashford. He said, "Don't worry about any of my bad passes. Just worry about the good ones that you can score on." Something along the lines of that.
All right. But, I mean, I kind of still worry about the bad passes, though. I
do too. But,
as a fan, you should.
But
Bruno is he the Cam of the future?
Yeah, Bruno's despite like a lot of the bad passes or mistakes that Bruno makes, he's incredible. When he's on, he's incredible, man.
I heard a rumor that he might go to Real Madrid.
That was during the World Cup, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. It's really, I'm still like, he does some of this cheeky shit too that I'm just like, Bruno, just play, bro. Just play. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you like this? Why are we doing this right now? I don't know. Alina, when you watch Bruno Fernandes play, is he the man to make this team tick? And when I say tick, I mean, guys, I hate to like continuously toot my own horn here, but when I watch Odegaard for Arsenal, it's like magic, bro. It's like, I can't believe we robbed Real Madrid in broad daylight. Like we literally got him for 30 plus million, and he is the perfect Cam for our system. Do you think he has that much of a fit, like that much of a natural fit into United system, Alina?
And I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about this because obviously, as you guys mentioned, he has his moments, but other times you just have no idea what the guy's doing. Like, he's just completely out of it. I think if an offer comes in with a good amount, I think they should let him go and reinvest in someone else. But
Who would you reinvest in? Who would you reinvest in?
I'm kind of thinking of. I don't know if he would be the best fit for that role, but why not try to replace him with Joao Felix? Because I think he'd be a little bit of that, like more. Because to me, Joao Felix, I don't really like him as a striker. But if
like him right behind,
yeah, like more like a center forward. I feel like is kind of a role that's not seen anymore as much as it used to, especially in modern football.
Interesting. I kind of like that. Max, how do you feel about that? Joao Felix as a 10.
I don't think he's as creative as Bruno, though.
Really?
I don't think so. I feel like people are saying. I feel like people would say something like that because how his situation is at Atletico, but when he plays for Portugal, he plays more as a striker / forward, and he just plays so much better up there. I don't really see him as a 10. I don't know. I feel like Bruno's just, when it comes to creativity, Bruno's miles clear of Joao Felix, in my opinion.
I could see a scenario though where United transitions to a system, right, where we talked about these two holding mids. I could see a system where one of those pivots ends up like transitioning into the midfield, right? Like let's say it's Frankie, for example. Frankie's really great at breaking the lines. So him carrying the ball, pushing it up. And while it looks like he's playing more of a 10, it turns out to be more of like a false 9 or a center forward where he kind of becomes a second striker when they go forward. Yeah. And it's a second option to play. If it's, if it's Joao Felix and Martial, or if it's Joao Felix and shit, I saw the Weghorst rumor today. Yeah. If it's those guys, right? Like, I could see how it would work by lining him up that way. But again, you could also make the argument that maybe Bruno is, you don't need to change the system that way for Bruno to be that guy.
Yeah, because Bruno, like the issue when Ronaldo was here is that Bruno and Ronaldo made the same runs. Like Bruno also kind of plays as that false nine, and when Donnie plays, either Bruno plays as the false nine or he plays as the winger. So I could see that happening.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a really interesting conversation, man. Like I typically you want your Cam to fit like a glove, like he's just the guy that makes your engine run. And he has those games where he very much does. And then he has those games where he's tried like 3 or 4 crazy long balls. None of them hit. He's getting frustrated. So she tries to do it even more. And you're just like, dude, can you just like help us like play, help us establish possession, help us like find the right passes, not just a pass. I don't know. It's like he tries to go for the home run every time. Like every time he gets the ball, that he wants to hit that dagger through ball or that dagger ball over the top every single time when it's not even on. I don't know. It's maybe Ten Hag has to coach that out of him a little bit. Yeah, because I just don't know. I like there are times that I like Bruno for United, and there are times where I'm like, dude, they could do so much better than this guy. I don't know. Just my thought.
Fair point.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. For the purposes of this 11, though, we're getting close to the end here. Nobody dethrones this man as Cam?
No.
Is there ever a scenario where... No, probably not. I mean, I'm trying to get really creative here where I would put someone like Rashford into a center forward role or something along those lines. But
no, Rashford's way better in the wing.
Yeah. Agreed. We'll keep it like that for now. I think keeping Bruno as Cam, he's probably not going anywhere. I don't think this midfield's going to change very much at all. Front three is really, really interesting considering where Jadon Sancho is, considering where Elanga is, considering Rashford's kind of up and down form this season. And then, of course, the giant hole at striker, whether that's filled by Martial or anybody else. So we can have a lot of fun with this part of the episode, guys. But let's start. I mean, let's start with right wing, because I think left wing is pretty much locked down by Rashford at the moment. So at right wing, Max, where's Jadon Sancho, bro? What the hell is going on with that guy?
Ooh, who knows? Maybe trying to find his form just the way Rashford found his this year. Maybe Sancho was probably not in the right mental. That's why he took this break. But hopefully when he comes back, he's the Sancho that we all saw in Dortmund. And I think he'll probably play, on the left and right. I don't think he has a strict, side he'll play on, but I don't think he'll be starting when he comes back. I still think it's going to be Antony on the right wing.
Yeah, I mean, is Antony by far the best right winger you guys have?
Yes, he's a better right wing than Sancho. Sancho's preferably better he prefers the left. He's better on the left, but Antony is by far our best right winger.
What about where's Elanga fit into all of this?
He doesn't. I think he's going to be.
Damn.
I think he goes on loan in the summer. I
mean, yeah, he's young enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, look, let's dig into the Antony piece a little bit, because I think there's, there was a lot of hype for him coming in, and rightfully so. Alina, he cost almost 100 million. So when we think about that price tag for that winger, do you think so far from what you've seen that he's lived up to that price tag, and if he has or hasn't, why?
I think sometimes players just have to settle in, especially their first season. Now, I never thought he was worth 100 million, and what he's shown so far is, I feel like, consistent with what he was able to do in the first season. I do think they should stick with him, though, because he's a player that you invested in. He's clearly a player that you trust for the future. And I personally think he's going to do better next season as well. Like, I think it's too soon. It's kind of like, judging Casemiro based on, the first month, and everyone is just wanting him out already. Yeah. I think for forwards, maybe it's even sometimes harder, and it might take longer to settle in with the team system. So I think for me, he could be that player. Right now, not really, but I think he could be that player in the future.
Max, do you think Antony is... Well, I mean, I'll ask you the same question. has he so far been worth the 100 million?
I would say yes. 3 goals and 8 appearances for in the Premier League when he's not really a goal scorer, as you can say. Obviously, yes, we overspent to go get him because
he tries to be. He definitely tries to be.
He tries to be, but 3 goals and 8 appearances is not bad at all.
No,
especially in the new league, like the Premier League, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
There's definitely a room for improvement. The last few games have been subpar from him. He seems like he's just not taking on players like he first did when he got here. But a lot of people are saying he's a flop. Do I think he's a flop? No, he's not a flop. He scored 3 goals and 8 appearances for United, man, and in the Premier League, and then I think he has a goal in the Europa League. So I don't like. I think for what we paid for, I know we're gonna get. I know he has a good future here at United. I don't think anyone's thinking, at least for United, thinking we need to go get someone else on the right wing. Maybe for depth reasons, but for someone to be our main right winger, no. I think Anthony's our guy.
I think and that's a great point. I think it's too soon to tell. I think, I kind of feel the way about Antony, the way that, and this could be a horrible comparison. I might get laughed at for this. I feel a way about Antony the way I feel about Darwin Nunez. I think it's too soon. I think
it's too soon too. I mean, Darwin, yes, he's not scoring goals, but man, he puts himself in such good positions to score goals. Is actually crazy.
He gets many chances.
It's like Timo again. To be honest, you could probably compare Darwin to Timo because Timo did the same thing at Chelsea. He put himself into always the best positions, but he just can't finish right now. Now, hopefully, he doesn't turn into Timo. Well, hopefully, he doesn't. For United, because Liverpool spent that money, we didn't. So hopefully, he does. But he's just like Timo, man. Like Timo, hate it or love it, but Timo was he was incredible at positioning. He was always at the right position at the right time. He lacked the finishing. Like he was never consistent. Like for Chelsea, that's why I guess that's why he went back to Leipzig. But I see the same thing happen with Darwin. But hopefully this time around he can actually be more clinical. But I mean, he still has plenty of goals this year. And he scored one, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, I think the Timo comparison is tough because I think it's like almost harsh because Timo, I would say the comparison among chances is pretty spot on. But Timo scored 20 goals in 3 seasons. It was very, very difficult. He never scored more than 8 in a season, whereas Darwin already has 5. So I think that he's able to put himself in so many unique positions. His runs are blistering runs. I feel like he does everything for the most part right up until the finish. I don't know what it is, but I think that he's just very raw. I feel like it's a hefty price tag for a long-term investment. But I feel like when this guy figures it out, holy shit, watch out. And that's kind of how I feel about Antony. I feel like Antony right now is...
Oh, no.
I think he disappeared from me.
He did.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He'll be there. There he is.
There you go.
Sorry about that, guys. Don't know what happened. But what I was saying before is I feel like Antony is at a point where he I would like to see more assists. He has 0 assists this season. I would like to see him take the line, take defenders one-on-one, take it to the byline, and find someone. Now, if United can't finish because they don't have an out-and-out striker, it is what it is. But that's what I would like to see more from him. Just be a tried-and-true winger instead of trying to be the goal scorer that he kind of had to be at Ajax a little bit. I don't know. I think it's too early. I think he needs to get his feet wet. I think Ten Hag needs to coach certain things out of him. But I wouldn't call him a flop. I think United fans are kind of impatient. I don't
think United fans are calling him flops. I think every other fan bases are calling him a flop.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just football, Twitter, right? Yeah. It's just dude, just
they're being dead ass.
Yeah, I don't know. Dead ass. I think people are. I think recency bias is crazy to me. I think people don't forget how long it takes our other very adored players to get acclimated to certain leagues and certain play styles, but there's a reason they spent the money on him. I think that we've seen flashes of it, and it's just it needs to be molded. He's very, very raw. So Antony probably could be the guy. I just in the second half of the season, man, I just want to see him take people on and try to find ways to get more assists.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But right wing, are we saying it's? I have three names here, guys: Alanga, Sancho, Anthony. I mean, if Sancho comes back and his headspace is in the right place, is he challenging Anthony for that spot?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
only two spots he can challenge. So,
Yeah.
And one of them's locked on the left side, and no one's starting over Rashford unless he's starting Rashford as a striker and putting Sancho on the left and then Anthony on the right, which could possibly happen. But he's definitely challenging Anthony for the right side.
Okay, so who would you put in there, guys? Like we need a single name.
Anthony.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, all right. Anthony's going to be our guy. I kind of hope Central figures that out, man. He was such a great player to watch at Dortmund.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so too.
I don't know. We'll see though. Left wing, is Rashford going to stay consistent throughout the second half of the season?
Yes, he's already starting to stay consistent. Absolutely.
Why? What makes you feel really good about all of the matches against the top six that are coming?
This Rashford is what we've seen when he first got back. Well, when he first joined the first team for United. Like, he's hungry again. He's confident. Like, it's like that Rashford we've all known he could be, and he's that guy right now. When he started this year in that form, he went to the World Cup. Unfortunately, I don't even know why Southgate didn't even start him, at least, or give him more minutes against France, because I think he would have done so much more better. But even in the World Cup, he had 3 goals. Like, he's in the form of his life right now. This is this year. And then there's other. Also, PSG is like breathing down his neck, saying, "Hey, come join us with Mbappe." So, like, the whole world is watching Rashford right now. So he's in the form of his life. I don't see him not. I don't see him ghosting for the rest of the year, as Salah kind of does.
Wow!
You had to throw the Salah thing in there. Oh man. So hold on. So that's a great. I'm glad you threw that out there. Is by the end of the season, will Rashford be a better, not better, more impactful winger than Mohamed Salah?
Yes.
Damn. Why? Come on, man. That's a bold take.
Why?
That's a bold take. Yeah.
Look
why?
where we are. Look how many goals he scored for United right now and our position, whereas Liverpool is, where they are.
I mean, that's true, but Liverpool's also there for a lot of reasons. I don't think it's like as pragmatic as saying, it's simply because those players aren't playing well. I think Salah's not playing terribly.
He's not playing terribly, but he's known for at this time of the year he just disappears, man. I don't like the last 2 seasons. It's the same thing. I'm not saying he's going to disappear right now. I'm just saying for the last 2 seasons, he's disappeared when it comes to the second half of the season.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's fair.
Rashford. I mean, he's 5 goals in the last 3 games.
Okay, but the last 3 games are what? Everton, Bournemouth, Wolves, Nottingham Forest. I mean, I agree with you. I think that Rashford's in a great form, but
that's you still got to score. You still got to win the games.
No, that's true. That's true. But Mohamed Salah is like a world class player.
Nottingham beat Liverpool.
That's fair. That's bro. I don't disagree. I what I'm saying is I think it's very heavy.
True. Sorry.
Yeah, it's very heavy-handed, I think, for United fans to just jump up and say Rashford is easily the best winger in the Premier League. Is that true from your standpoint? He's the best winger in the Premier League right now?
Yes. Rashford's one of the best players in the world right now. There's nobody. There's only a few names that can come across that's better than him right now. Who's better than Rashford right now, other than Mbappe and Haaland?
Who's better than Rashford in the Premier League alone? I would take
Messi.
I think Saka has as many legs to stand on as Rashford. And he's done it for it for the entire season and all of last season.
I would say Saka's up there too. I'm not going to argue that.
I don't know, man. It's just I feel like this is like another typical case of United fans just.
But there's the facts and the stats to back him up. Like there's 5 goals, 3 assists in the last 5 games, 7 straight goals in 7 games. Like. There's no who's in better form right now other than the 4 names that we just mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know that part is really difficult.
There's not too many names.
I like Martinelli a lot too, but he's still very young and still kind of figuring some things out. I think Rashford is on a tear right now. I also think though that like the Manchester derby, looms. And here's what I think. I need to see that Rashford against City. I need to see that Rashford against against Newcastle too. Like I want to see that Rashford show up in big games. I almost have the same criticism of Rashford that I have of Harry Kane. They can score goals. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that when they're on, when they're feeling it, they can score. Can they score in the big games? Can they?
Rashford scored against Arsenal this year.
That's fair. That's fair. Again, like I said it before. To me, I don't think that early anybody was counting Arsenal as the title favorite. It was still very much City. We just happened to be in first place, and Arsenal had somewhat of to open up the season a kind of, I don't want to say easy schedule, but it wasn't like the most challenging Prem schedule. So we had the points in our favor. I think beating a young Arsenal team and scoring on them, to me, is not anywhere near impressive as doing it against City, doing it against even Liverpool with all the shit they're going through, doing it in the Champions League. Like, I want to see that Rashford. It's Europa, so it is what it is. But if he shows up against Barcelona and he scores a fucking hat trick or something, I will shut up. I promise you get that from me. I just think that it's. I don't know. Again, these results are coming in kind of like Harry Kane, where he's notching it in against these lower table teams. That's great, but then he shanks the penalty against France, and we're right back talking about the Spursy shit he always does. So I don't know. Am I being super harsh here, Alina?
I mean, I think it's interesting with Rashford because it's crazy what confidence can do to a player, and especially forward. Like, if you are in your game and not like if you're having like a good stretch of a few games, you're gonna just keep rolling and you're gonna keep scoring goals. And I think another thing to mention is against the bigger teams, I feel like the whole group needs to be doing well. Like for example, if Rashford isn't able to, get a goal against Newcastle or get a goal against City, I don't know. I think games like that are just, they can be changed at an instant's time, and it's all about what happens during that specific game. So if United are not on their game that during that evening or that night, it might, I don't know. It's just, it's tough to say.
I know what you're saying. I understand. Yeah, if United is, no one in United is playing well.
Yeah.
Well, does that turn out to be Rashford? Is he not in form anymore? Mm-hmm. That's what you're probably trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I would
say. I mean, if we're gonna jump to the City, the City United game, the Manchester Derby. I think the game's gonna end in the draw, but I still think that if Rashford's taking on players, if he's looking dangerous and challenging but not scoring,
that's fine with me. I don't need him to score. I just want him. I want him to look the way he looks now. I want him to look as a world class winger, which we all feel like he can be. I just feel like it's still up and down. Like I just feel like we get this version of him against the teams that he should be playing like this well against. But sometimes over the last couple seasons, he doesn't show up. And there are times when I'm proven wrong. We think a few years back to the PSG comeback, right? Like, he completely turned that game around almost by himself. So he's capable of it. I just want to see the consistency, and I want to see the consistency against the top teams in the Prem and, of course, abroad in Europe. So I hope he does. I actually, even me being an Arsenal fan, I thought Rashford coming up, it's always great to see young talents, homegrown talents come up and like prove that they belong at the very big club that they're coming up in. And you don't see very many Manchester United anymore. You just don't. Like, those days are kind of done. Like, you just don't see that many youth talents break their way in. And he's done it. And he's hungry. Like, just, bro, go out there and upset City. Like, do it. You're capable of fucking doing it. Just do it. And that's really what I want to see. So for the purposes of this 11, you have to keep him here. He is one of the most informed wingers on the planet by far. But man, don't let United fans down, bro. Like just keep doing what you do. Like,
please, because right now you're the only one scoring.
Yeah,
you need a striker, and that's where we land to conclude this thing. Is, guys, we need a striker that United will go after in the window. This seems to be the biggest link of all, and in this transfer window, we've had every name from Joao Felix to Weghorst to to Olivier Giroud to everything. I've seen almost every name in the book thrown out.
To Colo, the French guy.
Yeah. It's crazy how many people are just jumping into this conversation. Players jumping into this conversation. So With that said, let's start with Max. I mean, I'm really curious for who you think should fill that spot versus who you think ends up coming in. So let's start with the first question. Who should, in your opinion, come in and be that 9?
Well, I'm crazy bold predictions, Mbappe, but that's not
that would actually
Imagine.
dude, that would turn the world upside down.
that would, listen, Rashford's being Asian right now because him and Mbappe are best friends all of a sudden. So, hey, if Mbappe is like, you know what?
He needs to come to the Prem, bro. He just
needs to come to
does.
the Prem.
He does. Why go to La Liga and just run all over those players?
Holland's not in La Liga right now, so why would he go there?
Nah, bro.
Come to Manchester. Have the real
Manchester derby would be
Manchester
the
derby
biggest derby in the world, bro.
Derby in the world right
shit.
now. Like, that would be insane. That would be insane. But that's
kind of a pipe dream.
It's a pipe dream. But Joao Felix, as I said earlier, is the guy for us. We probably will get Wakers. But I will say something about guys like him. Remember, Ten Hag got hollered at Ajax last year. And what did he do?
He scores goals.
He was the highest goal scorer in Champions League, which is crazy. He scored 6 goals for Ajax last year under Ten Hag.
And they weren't sexy, but he just knows how to score.
Yeah.
He just knows how to put the ball in the back of the net.
And Wakers is that same type of player. So
I mean, we saw it against Argentina. I mean, he came off the bench for 10 minutes.
He came off the bench and that crazy set piece and scored. So
I think he scored both goals.
Yeah, I think he did too, actually.
Yeah, the guy knows how to do it. I think he offers something. Let's say that's the rotation, Martial and Weghorst. I think he offers a lot that Martial just doesn't. Like, it may not be pace, it may not be that
scoring
that
in the box on set pieces. That's been our biggest problem. Other than Casemiro and Rashford, we really don't have anyone else scoring from set pieces, and he's a big target man. So I could see that definitely being actually a good signing for us. And especially if Ten Hag wants him, then that's his guy. You back the manager.
Yeah, 100%. I think it allows guys like Anthony, like before, like I mentioned, to focus on things like your fundamentals, like assists, like getting crosses in.
Right.
Yeah.
So Joao Felix would be the preferred 9 for us. I know people would say he's not really a true 9. I understand that, but I think he can be unlocked as a true 9, or even just floating from right wing to back up front as a center forward. I think he fits our system, because right now that's really what Martial and Rashford do. The guys float from being a center forward and then to the left side, and Rashford goes to the right side sometimes. Like, I think Joao Felix is that perfect type of player, and I have a feeling he can score goals. I just don't think he scores goals for Atletico because of the way they play. Like, Atletico is such a weird team. Like, they sit back all game. I'm sure that's what they're doing right now against Barca.
Probably. It's so stupid. I hate the way they play. For how much talent they have, they should not be
so
playing
much
like
talent.
that.
It's just like, I feel like he comes to United, we see a completely Joao Felix side that I think we all been waiting to see.
I agree. I think he needs to be in a side that's just more open and courageous and is not scared to play the game. And like that's somebody's going to sign him. Somebody's going to get him. I don't think he's going to wait until summer to try and make a move. That's too much time on the bench. He's probably on the bench right now watching the Barca game. I don't think he's playing at all. So I think that, someone's going to get him. I think United probably is the front runner. Arsenal their name was thrown in, but they won't spend the money.
I don't think they want to spend the money. They're trying to spend the money on the Ukrainian guy, right?
Yeah, Mudryk, I think, and another thing too is that Arteta and Edu have done this already quite a bit. They've proven that they won't overspend. Like a 20 million low fee, like no, get the hell out of here. Like we're not going to do that. 60 to 70 million for Mudryk, no, we're not going to do that.
Surprisingly, even United are not even saying no.
Yeah, bro.
They even know that shit's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
20 mil for a loan is wild.
Like 20 million, you could get a decent depth player for 20 million. Like, I'm not loaning a player for 20 million. There's no and pay part of his wages. Get the hell out
and
of here.
Pay his no, not even
it's
part.
Way too
they want
much.
his full wages.
Oh
paid.
my god, dude! No, I would have laughed and walked out of the room. Like, there's just no way.
They're out of their mind.
Yeah, dude. There's no. Atletico is. I don't know, bro. They're a different beast. Their fan base, their manager, their board. They're built different, I guess. But that's really interesting. Alina, do you think Joao Felix is like just the natural fit for their 9, or do you have somebody else on your list?
Man, I don't know, because earlier I was talking to you guys and I was saying how I can't really see him as the striker, and I would more see him as the guy playing behind the striker or like the center forward. So
Hmm.
I think I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I think it all depends on how he would do in the system because honestly, he could just come in and he would just start bagging goals and he would really work with Ten Hag's system. Um, but I think a lot of that also depends on if United do go and get that the Burnley striker. Remind me how to say his name again.
Yeah, Veghorst.
Veghorst.
Veghorst. Yeah, I think I think because he's going to be on loan for the five months. I think it all depends on how he's going to do because I feel like if he comes in and I have a feeling he's going to get a lot of playing time too. So I think if he comes in and he does well, they might not go after like a super high caliber name for striker in the summer. But if he doesn't fit in, then I do see them splashing most of the money to get a striker. And then
Yeah.
uh, that's kind of like where I'm going with this. I really think that it all depends on who they get uh in the winter and then how that person does and then that determines who they're going to go for in the summer if they need to go for someone in the summer.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree. Go ahead, Max.
Oh, I was going to say there's another name that was thrown out there that I completely forgot about. Marcus Thuram for 12 mil.
Bro, the 12 mil is what's getting you guys. What gets anybody excited about that deal? 12 mil in this market is crazy.
12 mil for Thuram, who's a goal scorer. I think he's one of the top 5 goal scorers right now in Bundesliga. So, I mean,
for 12 mil, for
12 mil, I'm taking that deal. Like
100%. I think again, it's someone who can keep Rashford competitive. It's someone who keeps Antony competitive. Like I see him more as a winger, and I think that he. Like for me, if I had to answer the question of who that 9 should be, I do think it should be Joao Felix just to answer the question. But I would change the system a little bit, and I would make him more of a false 9. I think he does really well with combining with the midfield and him and Bruno should have some kind of a chemistry from the national team. I think just getting those two to work together a little bit more and him. I don't know what his distribution is like. It's literally been that long since I've seen Joao Felix own a role for Atletico Madrid, but. If his distribution or Ten Hag can get his distribution on point, the way that I'm not saying Conte's able to get this, but the way that Spurs get from Kane, I think that's a hell of a system to run because the wingers that United has are just pace. I mean, there's so much there, and then of course Rashford has finishing power. I don't know. I think if you can have that kind of distribution from a striker and then someone who has the pace to catch up to the play and be the second run that comes into the box in case the first finish isn't there. Damn, like that's a system that is perfectly built for Ten Hag.
Beautiful to see. Oh my god, I'm having a dream about it right now.
But it's crazy because you could play either with possession, without possession. It doesn't matter. Like that type of system works really well, even if you want to change your approach depending on the opponent. So I don't know. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. But let's say you guys can't get him because of the stupid loan fee or whatever. I do like Veghorst as a change of pace option, but only as a loan. I don't like him as a permanent transfer. It doesn't make any
loan
sense.
Only. Loan only. But I would rather get Marcus Thuram for 12 mil, to be honest, than Veghorst.
Dude, if you guys get Marcus Thuram for 12 million, that'd be the biggest finesse ever.
That's crazy to me.
Dude, I think
he's very talented, man. And he's young. It's not like he's old. So it's for 12 mil is that's
nothing. And in fact, it's so much nothing that you can even loan him out for a season.
Exactly.
And it doesn't even do anything. It
doesn't do anything for you.
There's no L on the books.
Money really from that.
That's a long-term investment. I don't know. I think somebody should get him. I heard Chelsea was going to try and throw a bunch of money at him. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure he wants to move to the Prem regardless of where it is, but I'm sure he also wants to play Champions League football. I don't think Chelsea will be there at the end of the year. So we'll definitely see what happens. But guys, that's it. Fucking best 11. We got it nailed down. It is virtually the same 11 United has now, which leads me to my last question before we conclude the episode. Max, where does United finish with this team this season?
Well, let's start with my bold prediction first.
Oh, God.
If we beat City, then we go beat Arsenal.
Bro, this is a bold. Go ahead.
I'm not going to say United are going to win the Premier League, but the Premier League is now open to those three teams. I don't think Newcastle is that team. I honestly don't. I think they're going to finish, in a European spot. Do I think they're going to finish in a Champions League spot? I don't think so. I think somehow, some way, Liverpool will find their way to fourth.
Who's your top four?
Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool.
That's actually a pretty damn. Liverpool's interesting. I'm trying to keep them in the conversation so much, but they find a way to get themselves out every time.
Yeah, because Klopp, man, I'm telling you, Klopp is one of the best managers out there right now, and he will find a way to get in the top four. And since it just got Gakpo, and I think Luis Diaz is coming back next month.
Yeah, he's got like another month left on his recovery.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think they're winning the Champions League this year or going far. So I think they can focus on getting top four.
Can they beat Real Madrid in the Champions League this round of 16?
Actually, I don't even know because Real Madrid's playing like shit. They're playing.
It'll be an
like
interesting
shit.
game.
It's so unpredictable. I don't know how to feel about the round of 16 just yet.
No, I don't. All I hope is Napoli play well, man. Napoli and Benfica. I want to see some like underdog guys that go far.
I have bold predictions for Napoli. I can see Napoli making the semifinals, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
I think that's
I had
they're
Napoli
so
winning,
courageous.
but I don't think they're going to do it.
Shit,
They look terrible last
Against Inter?
week. So yeah, they look terrible.
They look bad against Inter.
It could be like that international break, Same thing for Real Madrid. I mean, it could be like that international break.
Everybody's tired.
Yeah, you come back, you're just going through the motions. I mean, I don't know. Every team outside of the Prem seems to be like big team seems to be sleeping. It wasn't just Real Madrid, Barca too. Barca came back, barely scraped by in the Copa del Rey, and like it's in Italy. You saw it with Napoli. I don't know how Milan looked or how Juve looked in their 1-0.
They're playing Roma today.
Okay,
actually, right now.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I think the rest outside of the Prem, like, everyone seems to be slowly getting back into the swing of things. Maybe next month when the Europe returns, we'll see different versions of all these big teams. But right now, it's just it's difficult to see who's going to win out of Liverpool and Real Madrid. But Liverpool at top four, interesting. Okay, so
yeah,
Alina.
But sorry. So my main prediction really was United third.
United third. Where are you guys at right now?
Fourth. But we're tied for third, but we have a game and behind Newcastle because we know the games that got canceled.
Okay.
In October.
Yeah. So right now, where do you have Spurs finishing then?
I don't even know where they're going to finish. To be honest, man, they're not finishing. I don't know. They look terrible. They look so bad.
They just don't look good going forward at all, or actually even defending. It's
like defending forward, no creativity. They got to fight their way. They got to fight their way back every second half. Like that's just not a good way to go, man. It's like not even like against the best teams. It's always against the shit teams too. So I don't know where they're going to finish. I think they can finish top 6, but I don't know. Even Brentford look good. Brighton and Brentford both look good, but I don't know what's going to happen with Ivan Toney and this whole gambling situation. So I don't know if he's going to get suspended for the next, however long.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Brighton getting top 6.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, so Man United finishing third. That is a very bold prediction, and I have my own take on that on why it's bold. But I'll jump into it in a second. Alina, your top 4 really quick.
I mean, I know I had United finishing top 4 like all the way in like August. So I'll
to Anthony being signed, yeah.
Yes,
me too.
yes. I was like, yeah, we're all gonna get a lot of goals, and then we all saw how that happened. What happened? Top 4. I do think, man, I feel like I change my mind every week. That's what's so hard about it. But I do think that I've changed my mind from the last couple of weeks. I do think that Arsenal are going to win because they look insane right now. So unless there's like an injury or something else that's as significant, I don't really see them stopping. I do think that it's going to be Arsenal, United, City third, and
United
then
have to win that derby for that shit to happen. But I'm okay with that. Go ahead.
You have to win it.
Fourth place, I think, is just a toss-up. I do think that it's possible if Liverpool do get on like a winning streak and they find their form again, I think they can make the fourth place. But
interesting.
My love Spurs. I don't even like Spurs, but I really thought that they were going to finish really high, but
I did too, actually. That was my original prediction. I had them in top 3, but the way they're looking
I don't
now,
see them there anymore.
Don't. Yeah,
they're too pragmatic. Conte is way too pragmatic for that team.
It's old school.
Yeah,
it's old school ball does not work anymore.
Yeah, it just doesn't. They need to have some sort of creativity there. They're just not. Now, here's the thing. With mine, really quick before we wrap the episode, I think United, if they can sign a striker who makes that front line better, they can finish top 4. That is very much contingent upon that, and here's why. When you look at the stats for the entire table at the moment, no one touches Arsenal or City in terms of goals scored. They're both in the 40s at the moment. From there, it drops off pretty significantly. United have 27 goals. That is the lowest until you get to about Brentford. No, Brentford has more. Chelsea, who has 20 in 10th place. So the goals scored on the goals have to come from somewhere. Rashford can't be the guy week in and week out. Like he will do what he can. I think he'll still do enough to warrant like what a world-class winger argument, right? Like we could always have that individually, but just like Spurs can't manage to get out of their own way when it comes to their troubles up front, I see United, in those tough matches, those middle of the table matches, when they have to play against Villa, when they have to play against Leeds, when they have to play against, Brentford or Brighton, like they need goals that just come out of somewhere and not just one individual player. So for me, for United to be in the top 4, they need to sign a striker that makes that front line better so that they're not solely reliant upon the superstars they have now. And that's very much the case. Even Newcastle has more goals. Tottenham has more goals. Liverpool, Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, all the way down to 10th place Chelsea. They all have more goals than United scored so far. So we'll see what happens. I would love to see, it would be mayhem. And as an Arsenal fan who's trying to, avoid the chase of City, I would love to see fucking United beat City in the Manchester Derby. That would be amazing. But again, I think that, they need more goals. They have to come from somewhere. So we'll see. But guys, that bold prediction, it may not be that bold. We'll see, Max, in like a couple months, man. Yeah. It may not be that bold. I think Chelsea are not going to figure it out. Liverpool have a long way to go. Tottenham, I don't know how much more money they're going to spend in the window. I don't know. Who knows, man? But the Prem looks like it's going to be the spiciest it's been in quite some time. And I'm all here for it. I'm
sick of City. Sick of City and Liverpool, man. I'm so sick of them. It's more City.
It was almost a Farmers League at one point.
Bro, it's just ridiculous. City was just like at one point, City had was it 2 seasons ago that had over 100 points?
Yeah, bro. I don't know. Yeah. It was. I'm just sick of the same 2 teams. I'm glad that we have a top 4 that's going to be a true race all the way to the end. And that's really, really what I want. So I'm all about it. I think that, the teams that, were really struggling over the last like half decade plus, Arsenal, United, are coming back in a massive way that should reignite a rivalry that everybody's ready for. In my opinion, the biggest rivalry in the Prem. I don't care what Jamie Carragher says. He can eat it. I mean, at the end of the day, City Liverpool is not that massive of a rivalry. And I'm really excited for the Prem to almost be what it was, what it felt like, in yesteryear. So, but with that said, that's our best 11. Max, bro, thank you again for jumping on board. I appreciate it. I know this pod went longer than anticipated and we had some technical issues along the way, but this was fun, man. Before we go, is there, I don't know, anything you're excited about, you're working on content wise that we want to make the audience aware of?
No, I think right now, Team of the Year is coming up, so it's always a good time when Team of the Year comes up for FIFA.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always a good time.
Hell yeah.
But, my streams continue like 3-4 times a week, daily uploads to TikTok. My goal this year is to try to upload more to YouTube. We'll see how that goes. Very busy these days.
Yep.
But no, I'm just excited to see just how this Premier League shapes up by the end of the year. It's just like I'm so focused on United, man. This is like you guys like it's crazy. I have not been this excited in like a few years. Like this is such a
same
feeling about this team.
We're in this we're in the same boat, bro. Like through and through. We're just feeling different, and it's like a new energy. 2023 is about to be nuts, and we're here for it. So, Max, again, thank you so much. Alina, thank you for being on. And guys, we're gonna throw Max's socials down in the description notes below. MaxCGaming on all socials. We'll link it. Go follow the guy. Go watch him on Twitch. Go check out his Team of the Year plans. I'm sure that's going to be a crazy stream. Crazy streams, I should say. But from all of us here at Box to Box and GOLZtv, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.